In the headlines, bandits open fire on Maulud procession in Katsina, abduct worshippers. Court reserves judgment in Kano governorship election appeal. Peter Obi speaks on the state of the nation. On the foreign scene, 15 killed, several houses destroyed after floods hit Kenya. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. Many people, including women and children, were killed when bandits attacked a procession of Maulud celebrants in Kusa, a community in Musawa local government area of Katsina State. It is, however, unclear how many have been killed after the attack. But many have reportedly sustained injuries, with 17 persons admitted at the Katsina Orthopedic Hospital and others at the Musawa General Hospital. According to a resident, the bandits opened fire on the procession around 11:05 p.m. on Sunday, during which many were abducted from the scene. Confirming the incident, the police spokesman in Katsina, SP Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, said the bandits attacked, shot and injured 18 people. And still on security matters, at least 12 farmers have been killed and several others are reportedly missing after an attack by suspected Boko Haram insurgents on rice farmers in Mafa local government area of Borno State on Sunday. It was guarded that the insurgents stormed rice fields and rounded up the farmers while harvesting their farm produce in Kirkuk and Koshebe general area in Mafa local government area, slaughtering them with knives. According to civilian joint task force, 13 dead bodies have been recovered and a search of missing persons still ongoing. A top security source said that the terrorists, who were on motorcycles, divided themselves into 3 groups before attacking the farmers. Now, in the meantime, suspected Boko Haram insurgents have shot and killed a businessman based in Maiduguri on his farmland in Bama local government area of Borno State. The incident reportedly happened on the victim's farm, where four workers were also abducted. The gunmen invaded the farm, rounded up the workers, and attempted to kidnap the businessman. Eyewitnesses say there was a struggle between the victim and the insurgents before he was eventually shot dead. Earlier, we spoke to Daily Trust reporter in Maiduguri, Olatunji Omirin, on the latest incidents.
I think in the recent time, attack on a farmer has becoming something that occurring almost every day. I reported yesterday that there was an attack in Bama local government where a businessman was killed and 4 others were abducted. And last night also, some farmer from Subramari actually went to their farmland in Mapa local government area of the state, and they were run up while trying to access their farm produce, and more than a dozen of them were killed. In fact, I just spoke to one of the farmer, leader of the farmer in Sabramari a minute ago. I was told that 10 corpses have already been brought, and they went to pick another 3 while searching for missing, and those that were kidnapped are still ongoing, both by security agency and civilian JTF. Yes, if you look at if you follow the trends over the years, these are doing their tactics, and they have been using this. They will not stop the farmer from planting the crops, but when it comes to harvest time, that is where we usually have. If you check last year, it's the same thing. We check they will behead a farmer, they will kill farmers, and they will actually went away with their farm produce. They have been doing this thing every year. It's not that maybe the number of the attack in the state particularly has not been in kind of on alarming rate, but attack on particularly on farmers in the last 2-3 weeks has been increased, and that's what we are witnessing. But it has been occurring every year. So during the peak of harvest season, there are usually attacks on farmers. The security agencies, the military, the police, the civilian JTF, the hunters, the vigilante, the kishkis, they are really trying. They are trying their best, but don't forget that Borno State has a very fast land that is very, very fast. So for the security agencies to cover everywhere, I think it seems it's not possible. They cannot be everywhere at a time. So that is why the Boko Haram always take the advantage when they see that maybe some farmers, they don't have a kind of the Ango Ranger, because there is Ango Ranger that the Borno State government actually created specifically to protect farmers. And bear it in mind that the state government, the state government has been doing well in terms of supporting the security agencies, but they cannot.
And now on judiciary matters, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reserved judgment in the appeal by the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, challenging his removal by the Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal. The tribunal had on September 20th nullified Yusuf's election by declaring 165,663 of his votes invalid. The tribunal held that the ballot papers were neither signed nor stamped by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Consequently, it declared the All Progressives Congress candidate Nasir Gawuna the winner of the governorship election. Now, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has sacked Musa Ilyasu Konkoso of the All Progressives Congress and reinstated Yusuf Umar Detti of the New Nigeria People's Party in the Kura Madobi Garumalang Federal Constituency election. The three-panel led by Justice Tunde Oyeba Miji Awotoye allowed an appeal by Yusuf Detti and averred that the tribunal erred in counting the date of the appellant's resignation on the date of his party's primary election, and that Section 77 of the Electoral Act was misapplied, saying no court has jurisdiction on the issue of membership of the party. Well, still on judiciary matters, the Court of Appeal in the meantime has sacked Chijioke Okereke of the Labour Party as member representing Anuri Augu Ojiriva Federal Constituency. The court dismissed Okereke's appeal against an earlier sack by the Enugu State National Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal. In a judgment delivered on Monday, the court ruled that the appeal against the tribunal ruling that Anayo Onyebu of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) is the rightful winner of the election lacks merit. The tribunal had sacked Okereke, affirming Onyebu as the duly elected candidate of the February 25th poll. Onyebu had approached the tribunal challenging the declaration of Okereke on the grounds that he was a stranger to the election, as his name was not on the result sheet as the candidate of the Labour Party. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has decried the profligacy in government despite Nigeria's battle with economic downturn. The Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 elections also criticized the verdict of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which upheld the election of President Bola Tinubu during a press conference in Abuja on Monday. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
11 days after the Supreme Court of Nigeria's verdict on the presidential election appeal, Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, says the Apex Court has sacrificed judicial responsibility for political expediency at the cost of public confidence and trust.
The Supreme Court exhibited a disturbing aversion to public opinion, just as they abandoned its responsibility as court of law and policy. It is therefore with great dismay that I observe that the court's decision contradicts the overwhelming evidence of election rigging, false claim of technical glitch, substantial non-compliance to the rules set by INEC itself, as well as matters of perjury, identity theft, and forgery that has been brought to light in course of this election matter.
While reacting to national developments, Peter Obi decried the spending of billions of naira on exotic cars for lawmakers and rehabilitation of offices, describing it as a profligacy in the light of the sufferings of millions of Nigerians who are dealing with declining living conditions and poor public services.
Nigeria today, we've read it in the past 1 week for United Nations World Food Organization that 26.5 million Nigerians will go hungry next year. This is an issue of national importance that we can go for supplementary budget. But we have a supplementary budget where we are mentioning issues of yachts, SUVs for First Lady's office, shows to the extent that its government is totally uncaring and we're in deep problem.
Looking back at the presidential elections, Peter Obi says neither he nor the Labour Party regretted the decision to forego an alliance with other political parties, while adding his voice to calls for reforms and restructuring of the constitution by advocating a term limit of 5 years for the presidency with a rotational system for zoning. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, the suspended INEC resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa State, Hood Yunusa Ari, has failed to appear at the State High Court in Yola for arraignment. Justice Benjamin Manji of the State High Court in Yola thereafter ordered INEC to produce him in court during its next sitting on November 23, 2023. This follows the failure of the police to serve the hearing notice to Yunusa Ari. According to the prosecution counsel to INEC, the police made several attempts to serve him the hearing notice by visiting his home without success. The defendant's surety could not be traced. The presiding judge, Benjamin Manji, however, queried why the police, which granted Hudu Ari bail through a surety, could neither get the defendant nor the surety. He therefore granted the prosecution counsel's request of 2 weeks for the defendant to appear before the court. The suspended Reka Yunusa Ari is facing a 6-count charge in connection with infractions during the 2023 governorship election in Adamawa State. Now, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, did appear in court for arraignment at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory on Monday. This is despite an order by trial judge Justice Olukayode Adeniyi for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to produce Emefiele in court for hearing of his motion on fundamental rights enforcement. Justice Adeniyi had last week ordered the anti-graft agency to release the former CBN governor unconditionally or produce him in court for the hearing of a motion determining his bail. This follows his arrest by the FCC shortly after his release from the custody of the Department of State Services in late October. The court has now adjourned till Wednesday, November 8, for a hearing of Emefiele's motion on notice and for his counsel to provide additional documents. It also restated its November 2nd order for Emefiele's unconditional release or to produce him in court on Wednesday. Now, in an effort to reposition Nigeria's educational system for improved service delivery and global competitiveness, the federal government, in partnership with the United Kingdom, has kick-started an initiative aimed at reforming Nigeria's education curriculum. This collaboration is targeting the integration of educational elements to broaden the scope of knowledge for Nigerian students within the existing curriculum. Habib Batajayi now takes it from here.
Nigeria's education sector remains inundated by several challenges militating against quality service delivery. According to available data, there are 2.147 million students in Nigerian universities, constituting 1.1% of the country's total population. The current setup of Nigerian tertiary institutions leave much to be desired due to poor performances and inadequate productivity. The United Kingdom's international education champion is now collaborating with the Nigerian government to address these gaps to boost capacity and output.
Guidelines is universal, applicable, and operational because it's emanating from the end use unit, any other organ. As you do know that NUC is the major regulatory body for university education in the country, and therefore whatever the MOU you have with them is standing, and the ministry will ever be stand firm to ensure that it is operational, and you have all our support and backing in executing the transnational education. It is our hope that in the next few years to come, we will all be glad that we have participated actively, and Nigeria will be highly rated at international level.
The United Kingdom representative, while reiterating the need for open and constructive dialogue, highlighted the shared goal of achieving mutual benefits for both Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
Transnational education is where someone studies in country, but for a high quality UK degree, with the quality assured by the British quality assurance system. It's obviously a lot cheaper to study here than it is to travel to the UK for 3 or 4 years and study, and yet the quality is the same. To do that, though, we've had to have a couple of years negotiations with the NUC on the guidelines for transnational education.
Part of the recommendations identified include the need for the UK delegation to explore an alignment with Nigeria's Orientation Agency for effective and optimal utilization. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV, coming off after the break. 2 people fell dead in Abuja. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
Human beings know what is right. If they don't want to do what is right, they will give you 1,001 reasons why they are doing the wrong things.
They see themselves as conquerors, and other people have been conquered.
When the opposition and the press keep parroting that phrase, government has failed, but we will not be here, hold on, we will not be here, sitting down here, if government has failed.
There has been almost total collapse of the security outfit, and the terrorists are taking advantage of this.
On that, a country that has about 923 square kilometers of arable land, not more than 2.5% has been cultivated.
Of course, you, the Nigerian citizen, will also have your say via our phone-in numbers on your screen.
The issue of appointment in Nigeria has become more political than doing the right thing for the country.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Bandits opened fire on Maulud procession in Katsina, abduct worshippers. And court reserves judgment in Kano governorship election appeal. Now to other stories. A magistrate court sitting in Yaba, Lagos State, has granted Naira Marley and Lagos socialite Sam Larry bail in the sum of 20 million Naira with 3 responsible duties. Naira Marley, Sam Larry and 2 others were arraigned on October 6th and remanded over their alleged involvement in circumstances surrounding the death of a musician, Mohbad. As part of the bail conditions, the defendants are to surrender their passports and make weekly appearances at the State Criminal Investigation Department. Now, 2 people have been reported to have died after a fire outbreak burned down parts of the Canadian High Commission building in Abuja caught fire. According to a witness, the fire was triggered from the powerhouse where technicians were working on a faulty generating plant. The 2 people who died in the fire were all part of the technical crew. The witness said one of the crew members escaped the blast from the generator house. Meanwhile, the members of staff from the offices have been safely evacuated, while an ambulance has taken those injured to the hospital for treatment. Now, the Naira has continued its resurgence against major currencies of the world after hitting an all-time low of 1,300 per dollar last week. The volatility in the forex market has caused uncertainty as the Central Bank of Nigeria began payment of forex backlog. Yusuf Akogo now reports.
The exchange rate between the United States dollar and Naira remains a pivotal economic indicator. The nation's currency has now appreciated to between 1,070 Naira and 1,080 Naira per dollar at the black market as at September 6, 2023, after a very poor start under the current government. At the official exchange rate window, Naira is trading at 781 to 1 United States dollar. While the parallel market is not recognized by the central bank, many Nigerians patronize this window due to the difficulties in accessing the official market.
The true exchange rate of the Naira is not 850. Naira is 1,300. I stand with the government in the area between 650 and 700, which I think is the good exchange rate of the Naira. So definitely, I think that will happen. On the side, whether it will get to 750 before the end of this year, I doubt much. Getting to 850 like JB Morgan projected, I think that will happen. But on the government side, I think we may have to wait till next quarter, next year, to see that magic happen.
The question on many lips is if this appreciation of the black market has come to stay, or will it depreciate against the dollar again? While the Apex Bank continues to encourage individuals to approach their banks for forex, the parallel market rate often serves as a reflection of market sentiment and Naira's performance against foreign currencies. Yusuf Akogo, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Now away from Nigeria, at least 15 people have died in Kenya as floods swept away scores of houses and devastated farmlands following torrential rains. The Red Cross, while confirming the development, says heavy rainfall has pounded Kenya, particularly the Bond-Dry North. Recent days flooding homes and submerging roads, with similar scenes playing out across other parts of East Africa. More than 1,000 livestock have died, while at least 97 hectares of agricultural farmlands have been destroyed. The UN's humanitarian agency said last month that Eastern Africa will likely encounter heavier than normal rains over the October-December period because of the El Nino phenomenon. Kenya's Meteorological Department also warned last week that the heavy rains were likely to be accompanied by gusty winds. And finally, on sports news, Lesotho head coach Leslie Nose will recall a number of experienced players for his side's 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Nigeria and Benin Republic. Lesotho will travel to Nigeria for their March Day 1 fixture at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Oyo, on Thursday, November 16th. Nose's side will host the Benin Republic at the Moses Mobida Stadium 5 days later. Nose is expected to release his list this week. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.